We are rolling. We're on camera. Cool. Okay. Guys, if you're watching this, I think today we're going to get into a very interesting conversation about mortgages, the experience, the opinions, the process, what really happens behind the scenes when someone is going in for a mortgage. Because we've done it, I think there are difficult things, I think there are good things, then there are lessons worth sharing and learning from it all. So, Rita, I don't know, where should we start this from?
Maybe introductions.
Intros. Okay. You kick
And
us
we'll
off.
share it in both our vlogs, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so my name is Rita Nkatha, and I've forgotten the name of my
The name of the podcast is
with only
forgotten.
8 subscribers. But anyway, I will share it with the link of this video.
Okay. And my name is Christabel. As usual, I'm into all topics that are about health and wealth and moving forward. So here I am again talking about real estate this time. We are recording this kind of just outdoor in the open. It's a little bit dusk. It's 6:40 p.m. Kenyan time right now. So if this video gets darker and
Very
darker,
random.
understand that it's actually getting dark. But anyway, let's get started.
I'm so good at this, by the way.
So, guys, I think a place that I want to begin is I only got my mortgage 2025.
Yeah.
So it's not a long time ago. It's my first one. So everything in it was kind of very novice for me. And leading up to that process, there was just too much information on the internet. Whichever podcast you listen to, it's like getting a mortgage to live in the house is a pretty bad financial decision.
This is true.
That
in
was
Kenya, especially.
That was the opinion. I think I even saw it in global markets. Like people buying homes in the UK, British folks are like, don't get a mortgage to go live in the house. American folks, I think there's one guy I follow, Grant Cardone. It's like getting a mortgage to live in the house is like bad financial decision. I felt like there was some truth to what these, real estate gurus are saying.
Truth,
I felt like there's some truth because if you buy a house, you're living in it, something breaks, like the plumbing system breaks. You need money to fix that plumbing system for a house that's not generating income. That's the truth of it. Still, I went for a mortgage anyway to live in the house, right? So I just went completely against what they said.
Yeah.
And I still think there was some valid benefits and upsides to actually making that decision in the Kenyan market.
And it's funny that I did that in 2020, going 2021. And for you, it's an experience of what? Last year? Just last year?
Yeah.
And the feeling is the same.
So we're talking 6 months, 7 months since 7 months ago.
7 months ago in 2025. And for me, it's 2020. That's 5 years
we're on the
ago. 6th year now.
Yeah.
And the sentiments are the same.
Crazy.
5 years down the line, it's still the same. Like it's still the same feeling of it's a bad decision, it's a liability, it's this and that, don't go for it. Kenyan market is like this, doomsayers and all that. But still we went for it. And my reasons for it, guys, and the upsides for me. One is, okay, I'm living in Nairobi. So first you need to come back to your reality. Guys might go like, this is a bad decision, but they're speaking from a UK market, a US market. I'm not living in those markets. Even Kenyan market is even worse than those other markets.
So I'm living in Nairobi, right? And for me, there was one thing. First, the rent in Nairobi has really skyrocketed. So the last house I rented was a 1-bedroom, not fancy, just very average 1-bedroom. And it cost me 50,000 Kenya shillings every month. That was really coming to the lowest budget I could pay for a decent house.
As a not even young professional, as a millennial.
Yeah.
We know young professionals are paying the same for houses in places further away from the CBD.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, like in Ruaka right now, it's the same pricing.
Right? Yeah. So the rent has gone up. So if you really wanted like a comfortable 2-bedroom, I'm not going to go to 3. 2-bedroom house, not over the top, just good. You're comfortable. It's functional. You're not having like empty space lying around. You're kind of using the entire space. I felt like in Nairobi, you're going to be thinking about paying around 80,000 80,000, you're dancing there. You're dancing at
again
70 to 90.
As a young professional.
Yeah.
You know, if someone is watching this and they're like, oh my goodness, what prices is this you're talking about? We're speaking to someone who's weighing the options of mortgage versus renting versus building somewhere.
Exactly.
Right? That's a category we're looking at. So you're like at a lower middle, young professional to upper middle.
Yes.
Yeah.
So already for me, 80,000, it's hefty. You know, it's kind of hefty.
It is.
For 2-bedroom. Now, the other thing is landlords aren't keeping up with modernizing the houses, you know. These houses that I'm talking 80,000, this is something that was built in early 2000s, maybe some of them even the 90s,
yeah.
you know. And so you've got a house that's really old. It's due for an upgrade. It's due for some renovation, some remodeling. Landlords are not keeping up with that stuff. You're still going to pay the 80, the 70,000. You know what I mean? And then the other thing is you cannot really modify, make tweaks inside the house. And
you have to write to the landlord and they have to accept, and then you have to put it back the way you found it.
Yeah.
You know how those lease agreements read.
Exactly. Yeah. And after renting houses until, you know, last year, I've rented houses all my life. I kind of felt like that ease of having the space to know that I can modify something is that I needed and that I will use. So the other thing is ask yourself what you're going to use. I was very uncomfortable under the control of not being able to modify the space, but that is because I wanted to modify the space. So I really wanted to use that, and I wasn't able to use it. Now, there is always the idea that renting, if you economically like have a downturn, if you lose your job, your business goes down, you just move out of the house. Like you don't have this financial liability or financial stress coming from having a mortgage. I think that's a valid point. I think that's a valid maybe concern, but also it comes from a place of scarcity. Why would I be imagining a downturn? Like I couldn't bring myself to think of a downturn as my next coming thing. Like, why can't I just think of flourishing and abundance?
And I even have a challenge to that, towards that mindset, but go on.
So but then I did not completely ignore it because life is life. So here was my kind of how to balance, how to play the two worlds was don't go for your dream home. Like if you're getting a mortgage to go live in the house, and in this case, it was just me, like single woman getting her house. Don't go for your dream palace of a home. I'm not living in my dream home, and I know this. And I went for a home that was not my dream home. Go for a home that's gonna serve you.
Practical.
And even though the mortgage will be, I don't know what they tell you, 60 is it 20, 10 years, something, 15 years?
Yeah, 15
they give you some crazy amount of time.
To 25 years, actually.
My advice is get a mortgage that you can pay in 5 years, like 5. So what I did was calculate like your house cost today. So I was paying 50,000, right? So 50,000 was my house rent. Multiply that by 12. That's going to go to 600,000. Then 600,000 per year. So that's annual cost of housing. Multiply your annual cost of housing by like 7 years. So that is 4.2 million. It will be. Okay, round it up, 5 million. So I was like, okay, that would be 7 years what I would spend on a house. Now, the mortgage will cost you slightly more, but I shouldn't dance too far away from 4.2 million. That was just my math. Like, I'm already going to spend in the next 7 years 4.2, even if I rent. Okay. Now, I'm going to own the property. That's going to come with some added cost to it, but it cannot be 35 million. If I was going to spend,
that's true.
It cannot, you know. So
I'm laughing because I didn't even expect to hear 35.
You know, you're going for a mortgage, you're like 35 million. The home is beautiful, garden, like whatever.
I think that's where people go crazy about mortgages.
No, just no, don't do it. Don't do it. Start with your rent as a baseline of what's your cost of living, accommodation. Then what is it over 1 year? Then what is it projected over 6, 7 years.
And you're also
Right?
counting as if you're not going to grow. You move from the 50, maybe in year 2, 3, you have a
Yes.
family, now you're in an 80 to 100K house.
Yeah,
Because
because
there's shared
that is with your
income.
expense today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even with your expense today, let's say you take 10 years. So we'd gotten like 4.2 million. So multi X that by 2, you are at 8.4 million. 8.4 million, that means it will take you 14 years with the money you earn today. So
with no change.
If your income grows, definitely you're gonna take less to pay back your house, and you could pay back your house in half the time.
And when you're renting and when you keep pushing, kicking the ball forward, you're moving to a more expensive home. So it's no longer the 50K house.
It becomes 60,
80K,
it becomes 70.
100,
some landlords are increasing rent on you without even moving. You're just sitting still and the rent is going up.
By 10% or whatever.
Yes. So I think use your costs of housing today to form a baseline. And then, okay, put it on top, because you're not going to be moving from this house soon. So, okay, 4.2 million, you will not get something exactly at that price. If you want, let's say you're living in a 1-bedroom, you want a 2-bedroom. Okay, so that's going to double the cost of it. But remember, if your income grows, you're going to pay this house in half the time.
True.
So that for me was a good way to manage your ego. There is a lot of ego management in this process as well. That was my dance. I don't know.
You've really touched on many of the things that were my dance back then. And I think we really talked a lot about it when you were looking for a place, right? Now, I wanted to challenge even that mindset to the audience of what if the downturn.
Yeah.
Okay, so for example, if you're in a rented house, the downturn is that you can up and go and downgrade, right? But even in a mortgage, if the downturn is really bad, that's when they call the auctioneers. That's when you sell the house. They pay back themselves, they leave you with whatever is remaining, and you call it a day. Like it doesn't have to be now because I bought this house, especially because we're saying it's not even a dream house, right? You're starting
it's not a
practical.
Dream house. Yeah.
You should be able to let it go if that downturn came, because either way, be it in a rental, be it in this, the downturn is a downturn. You'll have to downgrade either way. So it cancels that thing for, oh, because it's a mortgage, what about the downturn? If a downturn is coming, it's coming.
But guys,
wherever you are,
you can also not just go through life
waiting
being afraid
for a downturn.
of its downturns and waiting for the downturns. Remember, you're going to have this mortgage. It's going to make you sharper. It's going to make you focused. It's going to make you more driven, more ambitious. I don't know. People don't see the growth or the drive that comes from that, and they only panic about what if a downturn happens.
That's the thing I'm challenging, right?
Yes.
If a downturn is coming, it is coming.
It's coming.
If you're in a rental, if you're in a mortgage, if you're in your parents' home, the downturn is coming. Downturn means you're downgrading. So be it in your mortgage or your rental or whatever, the downgrade is the same. I think people just get very hung up with the idea of shame that, oh, I bought the house. And
then you lose it.
You lose it. The same way if you were in a good rented house, you lose it.
And guess what happens? You dust off.
And you wake up again.
You start again, and you even buy a more magnificent place. So for me personally, there was nothing to fear. This is life we are living.
So for me, you asked a question. It was the same mindset. And I started from a 1-bedroom because I was just like, the amount I'm paying, which was more or less the same as you. I'm like, I'm single. I'm paying 50K. Every month, every year I'm clocking 600. There's this idea that at some point I'm going to build my own home. But I stayed in that place for what, 4 years? And before that, I was paying 40K, which I stayed in like 3 years. If you're working in Nairobi or in any big city for the sake of it, and you're looking at a career growth, you're just going to end up renting and renting and renting. And one day you look back and you're like, I rented 10 million of my money. And I own nothing.
Exactly.
Like I own nothing.
That's
I
problematic.
gave them 10 million and it went. This other model of me owning my own place was that even if I'm paying, and I took a 1-bedroom, so it was more or less the same amount as a rental. The only thing I traded off was space. The 50K house has the 2 bedrooms, and it was an old house. It had all these things that looked very nice on paper. And now when you buy a house, it's what you're saying, you downgrade-ish, right? Go from practicality. So it's a smaller space. But then I was like, it's a small space and it's my space. And if I'm able to pay that mortgage installment per month, the same amount as when I was in the bigger space. The only thing I've traded is space, but I've traded space for peace of mind.
Yeah.
Because if I take 5 years to pay it off, or 10 years, or even say 25, it's my space. I'm not dealing with landlords or landladies.
Exactly.
I'm having to renovate it the way I want. If I feel like this wall today, I want to put panels on it or whatever, I can do that. So that was my goal. Good thing is that that happened, and like, you know, I went for a second one, because now they're being driven, it brings
Growth.
The growth starts coming when you're no longer afraid. When you're courageous, the growth starts coming. So I have zero regrets. Zero. The fear is there, the inflation is there. There's a time we were getting letters. Remember, we're talking about the loans. Every day
Yeah.
the CBK rates are coming, the emails come, oh, CBK CG has added what
Your
percentage.
interest
So
is
you're
going up.
just panicking. But it ended, and now anyone who's watching now and is keen on it, we have this thing they're calling the KMRC, the government project, right, for affordable housing, and they have a fixed interest. So it makes it even much easier now than before.
Yes.
Because before it was the interest year market, like whatever the market says is what you're paying. Now there's that ceiling of like 9.5 to 10%. So again, to the audience, if you're watching this, go talk to your bank if you're interested in a mortgage.
And I want to talk about the renting and the moving. And this is going to vary from personality type to personality type. There are those people who are pretty grounded. They get a house and they kind of have a goal and a vision, and they're like, I'm living here until wherever, you know?
Yeah.
And they can do that. If I come back to my personality type, I kind of moved houses, sometimes even every year. I'm changing to a new place. I'm changing because this place has become uncomfortable.
Yeah.
There's that lack of tolerance for any little discomfort because you're renting a place. It's just to go onto whatever website or call whichever agent and look up a new place, or a new building has come up. You're like, there are new houses. You're like, goodbye, I'm moving out of this place to a new place.
Has a pool.
And whenever, yes, they have a pool, they have a gym, I'm leaving. And whenever you move, there's a cost to that. There's a cost to that changing house. And most of the time you're moving to a house that's going to cost you more. So you lose a little bit of your deposit, you call the movers, you pay the cost of moving, and then you go and pay a higher rent. And then you do this for over 10 years, let's say.
Maybe
that you're renting.
we take this up again tomorrow, or we put on the lights. It's become dark.
It's become so dark.
Yeah, we can just pick it up tomorrow, I guess.
We're going to continue with this conversation tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or restart it. I'm not sure, but we're going to carry on with the discussion.
Yeah.